Hi, it's Alyssa. I am here with your reading. I hope you're doing well today. So, this is your spread. You had some pretty interesting questions, and I'm very excited to get into this reading with you. So, let's just jump right in. We have a ton of oracle cards here. I thought oracle cards would be a better way of getting the messages that you need to hear today. So we have mostly oracle cards with some tarot cards used as clarifiers. So let's just get into this. Your first question was, what is the psychic gift that you need to develop the most? So your first card here is the Awakening card. So this card tells me that you have some kind of higher purpose that you have not fully realized or discovered yet. And I think that you do have a gift. You do have some abilities. But I think that the most important message that they want you to get across is not that it's not exactly relating to your abilities that you have. It's more like you've been put here for a specific reason, and you have to, how do I want to say this? You have to start doing the work that you've been put here to do, okay? We also have this card which says channeling and uplifting humanity. So I think that the message here is twofold. You've got two things going on here. I think that you are a channeler, and I think that you are probably a light worker. So light workers, what they typically do is, you know, their purpose is to help to raise the collective consciousness. And they do that by working with individual people to help them to realize their divine nature. And in doing that, you know, we are uplifting humankind as a whole. So I think that is what you have been put here to do in this lifetime. We have the Moon card here, which is kind of like uncovering, you know, the secrets of our, you know, existence. That's what I'm seeing this as. And the Queen of Cups, this card a lot of times indicates psychic connections, you know, it indicates divinity as well sometimes. So again, this is like your job here is to help people realize their own psychic abilities and their own divine nature. And in doing that, helping people to change their lives and helping humanity as a whole to change, to be uplifted, to have, you know, to have humanity's consciousness, collective consciousness raised a little bit further. Okay. Now, what I do as a tarot reader is a little similar to what light workers do, but I don't consider myself to be a light worker, so I can't really tell you specifically what that would mean for you, but I'm sure there's, you know, I mean, there's tons of light workers who do readings like I do on YouTube that you can probably find, and there's probably a load of information out there that, you know, all you would have to do is just like Google it or something, and I'm sure like tons of stuff would come up. So I think that is kind of like the point here. I think that is the number one thing that they want you to know. As far as like your specific gift though, like I said, channeling is definitely something that you are capable of doing. If you've never done it before, that's something that you need to learn how to do. And I do channeling, so I can tell you about this. Basically, channeling is just getting messages from other sources. So it could be your higher self, which is the part of you that communicates directly with the universe or spirit. It could be with your spirit guides, if you have spirit guides that you work with or choose to work with in the future. So I think that is the thing that you really need to focus on. Learning how to do that, learning how to channel messages and communicate with spirits so that you can relay information to other people who need to hear it, right? Okay, so your second question was, how can you activate these gifts? I don't think there's anything that you really need to do to activate them, because they're already, like you already have this power, you know? I would say some things that you can do to help you get, to help you, let me see, learn how to do this would be, the most important thing, I think, is maintaining a positive energy, keeping your vibrations high. We've got the happy card. So this card is basically, it's pretty straightforward. It's about being happy. So I think what this is saying is that you need to maintain a very light-hearted energy, because that is going to help you to remain in tune, you know, with your guides or with spirit. Because when your vibrations are low, when your energy is heavy, it becomes distracting. Like it distracts from, you know, the voice of your intuition. It distracts you from the voice of your guides, and it kind of blocks you from receiving information that you need to get. So what you need to do in order to keep your vibrations high, we have this card, is clean it up. And what this is saying is that anything that creates a negative influence in your life, you have to cut out. So this could be people who bring you down in some way. This could be habits that you have that you know are not good for you, that, you know, make you feel just not great about yourself. Anything that does not serve your highest good, okay, you've got to cut off. You've got to sever from yourself, because these things, like I was saying, are going to create, you know, negative influences, negative energies that are going to be, you know, attached to you, and those things kind of block your ability to channel effectively, okay? So it's really important that you cut out any negative influences, anything that creates negativity in your life. Do your best to remove yourself or distance yourself from those things. And like I said, keep your vibrations very high, keep your energy very light and positive, because when you have good energy, when you release good energy out into the world, good energy comes back to you. If you have negativity clinging onto your energetic field, then that's going to attract more bad stuff that's just gonna weigh you down even further. And this is also what these cards are saying. We have play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. And we have dance with life, do something to change your energy. So these two cards are basically saying the same thing as this one. It's just very important that you remain light as far as your energy is concerned. Don't take yourself super seriously. I know, like, some people who do this kind of thing, you know, they take what they do, like, extremely seriously. And I mean, it is a serious thing at the end of the day, but, like, I think that when you take yourself and you take your job here too seriously, then that in itself kind of weighs you down, because, you know, I don't know, it's just the way I see it. You know, what we do here, people like, you know, you and I, who have psychic gifts, who, you know, have, who are, you know, consciously, spiritually conscious and aware of these things, you know, we got it hard enough, you know, with other people, like, thinking that we're crazy, or, you know, thinking that, like, what we do is nonsense. So, you know, if you can't, like, laugh at yourself sometimes, then, you know, it's just kind of, it's kind of like, what's the point? You know, we get enough bullshit from other people. Like, we don't need to create more bullshit for ourselves by, you know, taking ourselves overly seriously. I hope that makes sense. So your final question was, how can you practice with your powers? Okay, so the most important thing would be meditation. Okay, and I've got that from these two cards, TikTok and the Hermit. So these two cards are telling me, you know, these are about, like, withdrawing and taking time to yourself, putting aside time for yourself. So that means, you know, being very active in self-care. You've got to really develop a self-care routine, because doing this kind of work can be very exhausting. So don't feel bad about taking time for yourself and, you know, treating yourself right, because that's going to be necessary in order for you to do, you know, the work that you've been put here to do. Like, for myself, I usually try to avoid doing more than, like, 4 or 5 readings in one day, because if I do more than that, I just get so exhausted, you know, like, I get headaches, I get, like, overly emotional. It just really takes a toll. So you've got to remember to treat yourself well and treat yourself gently. And also, meditation is going to be very important for you, because that is how you are going to learn how to quiet your mind, so that the voice of your intuition or the voice of your guides can come through, and you can learn how to recognize it. Okay, so that way you can learn how to recognize when they are trying to tell you something versus when it's just, you know, your own thoughts. Okay, does that make sense? So if you don't meditate now, there's tons of guided ones that you can watch on, like, YouTube and stuff, just until you get the hang of it. But meditation is extremely, extremely important, because not only does it help you to learn how to recognize when you are receiving messages, but also you can get messages during meditations, through visions or, you know, something like that. I do that quite frequently. We also have this card, Fork in the Road. So this card is, I'm not seeing this, like, literally talking about, you know, having a choice to make. What I'm getting from this card, actually, is that they are recommending that you try out using a pendulum, which, if you're not familiar with pendulums, it's just, it's a divination tool. It's very easy to use. It's super simple. Let me see. Do I have... Okay, I have a necklace over here. I actually used to use this as a pendulum before I got a real one. This is just a quartz crystal on a string. You can use anything that it's, you know, anything that is just an object on a string or a chain, you can be used as a pendulum. You don't have to go out and, like, buy a real one. Because, like I said, I used to use this one all the time. So, basically, what you do with the pendulum is you ask it, you can only ask it yes or no questions, and the pendulum gives you very straightforward yes or no answers. So it's very, you know, there's not really any learning curve as far as, like, how you interpret answers. It's a very simple, it's a very to the point. So when you start out using a pendulum, you would say, okay, show me, oops, sorry, that's my timer. You would say, okay, show me which direction is the yes answer, and it will start to swing in a particular direction. And then you would say, okay, show me what direction is no, and it will change direction and start swinging in another direction, which would indicate that the answer is no. So basically you ask a question and it swings in a particular direction that corresponds to a yes or a no. Okay? It's very straightforward. It's very easy. And it's a very good tool to use for anybody who is starting out in channeling. Okay? So I would recommend doing that. Trying out working with a pendulum. Also, we have this card. This is Round and Round. This card talks about, like, not absorbing information that you're being given. Like, it's like, you know, the universe is trying to teach you something, but you keep missing the point. That's what this card talks about. So I think what it's saying here is that another thing that you should try is, you know, trying more practical exercises. Because if you're a light worker, then you probably have a lot of inherent wisdom, right? Because light workers and people like them, like us, tend to be very wise individuals because, you know, we have information that's been given to us from external sources. So I'm seeing this kind of like, if you find yourself with opportunities to help individual people that you know with certain situations, like, I don't know, if you have a friend who's been having relationship problems or something like that, you can try out, you know, you can try to get a message for that person, you know, from spirit or from your higher self, and try to help this person, like, work out what's going on and try to help them see, you know, see the situation from a different perspective or see, you know, what they can learn from it or something like that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So that is really all the messages that I'm getting for you today. I hope this all makes sense to you. If you need me to clarify anything that I talked about during this reading, like if anything I said just doesn't really make sense to you or you're not sure what I mean by it, please let me know and I will do my best to explain it more clearly. I'm not like a super articulate person, but I try my best. Okay, so let's see, is there anything else I wanted to say? I don't think so. So yeah, thank you so much for entering the giveaway, and thank you for supporting my channel. I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonates with you. Like I said, if you need me to explain anything in more detail, let me know, and I'll do my best to do that. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much again. I'm wishing you the best of luck, and I hope to hear from you. Bye!